almost all coffee will have mold just because of how it's grown. And so you actually want to look for a myco-tested coffee. So mycotoxins, that is part of the mold category. Molds are in mycotoxins. And we do want to remove that. A lot of people have issues with mold and they don't realize it. So if you're someone who's like, I just can't figure out what's going wrong with me, it can definitely be mold. Oh my word, I have so much I can speak about mold. And so getting an organic coffee so we don't have the sprays, and then a mycotoxin-free coffee, and then low acid. So you can get a organic, lower acid coffee that's mycotoxin tested. That won't be Starbucks, guys. And so that won't be any of your drive-through coffees unless you're in some ritzy place.
Hello, and welcome to the Positively Healthy Mom podcast. I'm your host, Laura Ollinger, teen and young adult well-being coach, founder of Positively Healthy Coaching, and host of the Positively Healthy Mom podcast, which I cannot wait to get started today to introduce you to my new friend, Karen Arms, who goes by Zuzu. So that is how we are going to refer to her for the rest of the show. Zuzu is a holistic health educator, author, and speaker who's given more than 2,500 seminars and written 4 books. So already just like a wealth of knowledge. I can't wait to dig in. She's co-founder of Holistic Health Educators in the Lily Fields Retreat Center. So today we're going to just talk about everything health-related, healing from the inside out, gut health, and whatever else comes up in this conversation today. So Zuzu, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Laura. This is super fun. I'm super excited to be here, and I'd love that is positively parenting, because to be positive is how you get through parenting. So I love it. I love you putting it together.
Yes. And so let's start there. So I hear you have a lot of kids. Tell us about that.
Oh, I do. Gave birth to 7, have 3 stepchildren, and then I adopted a daughter. And then actually one of my students passed away and left me her daughter. It was the coolest story ever. So we have like his, hers, ours. We adopted, and then I was left a beautiful, beautiful young woman, and we are now her family, and it's been amazing. So yeah, it's been great.
Wow. So where does this journey begin into health and healing?
Oh, well, probably when I was pregnant with my first child, because I had epilepsy and I didn't want to be on medication. So I was able to get off of all the medication using food, which was really amazing. And then after she was born, I just started, diving into natural health. And so if a health ailment came up, we did it naturally. And we used homeopathy probably exclusively for the first 11 years of having children. So the twins, and as the children came, I just used homeopathy. And then I verged out into the world of herbs and essential oils and, lots and lots. So we did homeoprophylaxis, we didn't vaccinate. And after I learned, I had a couple of vaccinations before that. And it has been really amazing. So our children are extremely healthy all through college. They were the people everyone went to when their comrades were getting sick, because they had so much energy and they felt great. So it's been a really neat journey, because I started this 40 years ago when I was 18, and now 40 years later, it still works. And I don't care what all the new fads are that are coming out. The body's a machine, and there's only a few ways in and only a few ways out. And once you understand the mechanics of where your organs are and your glands and your tissues, it ain't that hard to operate a good, healthy, clean body. So it's been really, really neat. A great journey.
Yeah. So describe to us, because the food part makes sense, like healing with food, which I'd love to talk to you about. And then, but the kind of, I think you said essential oils, or I don't know if my brain just plugged that in. Thank you, didn't say that. And this homeopathy, could you explain that just for the average person who is like, yeah, that sounds a little like woo-woo, we don't really know what it is, but can you give us a definition?
Oh, absolutely. Well, quite honestly, I believe what we do is primary care, because we're not alternate. This is primary, and that is taking care of the organs, glands, and tissues, and through food, through diet, through exercise, through mind and thought, right? But homeopathy is amazing. It's used by over 87% of the world's population. If you're in America, you make up 4% of the world's population. Remember that. And so we think we're really important and we're really big and we're big players, but in actuality, there's a lot of people that exist much healthier than us. We're like, the 55th healthiest country in the world. So homeopathy is very powerful medicine, and it's like heals like. So it's basically like, for an example, a friend of mine had an attack because she was out and she ate shrimp at a bar, and all of a sudden she was having a severe attack. Take a piece of the shrimp, put it in alcohol, shake it, take that alcohol, dilute it, give it to her. It completely reversed it. Homeopathy is using what you are dealing with to get rid of what you're dealing with, which may sound interesting. So if you have a toxic, if you have some kind of a virus or a bacteria and you give your body a little tiny amount of that bacteria or virus, it's enough for the white blood cells to create a pattern of what is needed, amino acid wise, vitamins, minerals, whatever, to build the antidote to that issue. So that's homeopathy. So you can take, so like for homeopathy for a cough, you would say, is it a persistent cough? Is it creating mucus? Is it a dry cough? You find the exact cough that you want to treat with homeopathy, and then you buy what would cause that cough. Like you actually purchase a little homeopathy for like $10 and you take that and boom, the cough goes away. So it's basically programming the body to fight off an issue with the issue.
Wow.
When I became an HHP, I had to create a homeopathic remedy. So I did one on passion flower, and then I actually took the treatment. So I created the homeopathy for passion flower. Then I took the homeopathy for passion flower, and whatever it caused in my body is what it would reverse. And so I quickly found out that passion flower causes restless legs and causes, all these different issues. And
Uh-huh.
it's called approving. And then now we use passion flower for people who have leg cramps, et cetera, et cetera. So it has been around for thousands of years. Homeopathy, you'll see like Bragg's homeopathy, Be Rescued. There's so many things out there that are homeopathic. Even acylcoxium. Acylcoxium you can find at Walgreens, and it's homeopathic, but it
Mm.
works so quick at getting rid of any kind of flu. And it's a homeopathy. So there's no pharmaceutical standing behind it, that you still can get it at all your drugstores because it works so powerfully. But there's actually homeopathy
Mm.
for everything from acne to, gas to everything else. So that was homeopathy. So
Okay. Okay. And so how would, I guess the question is, what would be the benefit of going that route versus, I guess, Western medicine of drugs and pharmaceuticals?
well, yeah, there's a can of worms. So the drugs and pharmaceuticals, for instance, someone comes into me with a thyroid disorder and it's sluggish thyroid. I test their iodine levels. It's always going to be deficient. Matter of fact, everyone who's ever had breast cancer has deficient iodine. So then I have them take iodine and we work on their thyroid and their liver connection. Usually in a couple months, the hypothyroidism is gone. You go to a medical doctor, you're on medication the rest of your life. If you come in because you're depressed or you have anxiety issues, we're going to treat the gut. And usually in a couple months, that's all gone. And you go to the hospital, you're on SSRIs the rest of your life. So it's just a difference. And sure, you can go and take medication for the rest of your life, but there are going to be side effects. You can ask anybody who takes medication for a long time of weight gain, et cetera, et cetera. So there are some times you need a Western medicine. There's probably 18% of the pharmaceuticals we definitely need and we recommend. The others, I don't, because there are so many natural ways to reverse dis-ease and prevent dis-ease just naturally. And so homeoprophylaxis, which you would use instead of a vaccine, and please look it up. So many books on that. It's absolutely amazing. Is a way to build up your body's resistance. We did that with when COVID came out. We created a homeoprophylaxis against whatever that was, and it was used by 7, 8, 9,000 people just in our immediate circle, and then more. And so it was just really neat, So I guess if people aren't exposed to it, they wouldn't know about it. But homeopathy, like I said, it's used by over 87% of the world's population right now because it works. And you can make your own. That's probably why they don't tell you. You can make your own homeopathy. So, it's pretty easy. It's like making a flower remedy. Flower remedies work, by the way, and you can make your own. So that's just homeopathy. But Western medicine, we definitely, if you cut off your arm, and you come to me, I'm going to put cayenne pepper on it and send you to the emergency room. So there's always a time and a place, but we believe and we preach organ renewal, not organ removal. So we just kind of take a different approach when it comes to Eastern philosophies and Western philosophies. And if you look at traditional Chinese medicine, which we love, it's been around for 5,000 years. You're looking at the
Right.
Yellow Book of Emperors. We've had these answers for years and years and years, centuries, using natural plants and herbs and the apothecary. So we have an apothecary at our store. And then we also have, certain products that we recommend when there is an issue. So we can help get rid of the bad bacteria if you have small intestinal bacteria overgrowth and you're bloating all the time, rather than use an antibiotic, which kills everything, which you never want to do. And so, well, maybe in an extreme case in some foreign country, or maybe in America, but not often. And so we take just a little bit of a different approach to the body in that we look at the whole body. If it's hormonal, we look at the nervous system, which controls the endocrine system. We look to make sure the building blocks are there, which is probably one of the most important things I can share with your parenting audience, is that if the parts are not in the body to build a protein or an enzyme, you can't build it. So if we don't consume minerals and vitamins and biophotons and amino acids all come from plants, then we can't build what is needed. So many children with like ADD, ADHD, focus and whatever it might be, they don't have what they need. The nervous system is under turmoil. And so we can do a few things and help reverse most of that. Matter of fact, a study was done by Dr. Gabriel Cousins decades ago that showed 80% of children and adults can get off of their ADD, ADHD medications by doing one thing, and that was eating organic. Now, you might be going, how could it be that simple? And this is why. It is so easy to understand. Why is because when you eat organic foods, you don't have the side dishes. Now, check this out. Herbicide, insecticide, pesticide, larvicide, those are all designed to kill a living nervous system, right? Right? Kill the larvae, kill the herb, kill the insects, kill the pests. So we spray it on our food and then we feed it to our kids and wonder why their nervous system has a problem because we're killing their nervous system, and the other cool thing, I will pull up my fancy thick pen I don't use big pens, but I do use them for this analogy. This is your nervous system. This is your myelin sheath. And that little black thing is your nerve. Well, the myelin sheath is made of oil. Whatever oil you're eating is what's building the myelin sheath of you and your children. So if it's some deep fried something or some more deep fried something or some baked something with all these icky oils on them, then you're getting a pretty tainted myelin sheath. And so that nerve inside of the myelin sheath is going to get frayed and have a lot of damage. And the second thing is sugar eats the myelin sheath. So all of your white sugar, your brown sugar, all your sugars, even your grain turns into starch, which can also affect the myelin sheath. So the most important part of a child's nervous system or an adult's nervous system is healthy oils and avoid sugars. So right then and there, we go organic, we have healthy oils and we avoid sugar and boom, we get some pretty wonderful results. But a lot of people don't know that because we haven't been taught. Like our children aren't taught where their body parts are, and maybe they're taught once in second grade. But when they're trained on it, and if they can be exposed to that throughout their whole life, then it takes the fear out of when something's wrong. They understand what might be hurting. So education is huge. Huge, huge, huge.
Okay, I have a quick detail question on that myelin sheath. Is that also in the brain, or is that just the nervous system below the brain? Okay.
The entire nervous system. Yeah, your nerves are always firing through myelin sheath. And the healthy oils will always help build a healthy nervous system. So
and that makes sense.
People are low on omega-3s.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say, because they always say use that for brain health. And so that makes sense because you're actually healing or repairing or just protecting that, your nerves and your mind. Okay. Wow.
And you've seen the walnut analogy, how the walnut looks like the brain. Guess what? The walnut has a ton of omega-3. So omega, the walnuts and chia seeds and flax seeds and hemp seeds, like, hello, that's brain food, right? Those are all healthy omega-3s that are going to help strengthen your brain. They don't actually strengthen your brain. They strengthen the nervous system. Like healthy fats are the nervous system. And what is our brain? A lightning system. If you pulled, I just think it'd be so cool to remove all the skin on everybody and be like, oh my gosh, your liver is amazing. Or, oh, look at you. You've got incredible, look at those lymph nodes. They're so happy, but like our brain would be this electrical, firehouse of electricity constantly, and our gut, because our gut is where a lot of our neurotransmitters are made by the nervous system. So healthy oils. So you're hearing all this news about the danger of seed oils for a reason. Seed oils are destroying our children's nervous system. There you go. Nerves in a box by Karen.
Yes, I love it.
Just a quick word before we get back to the episode. If you have a teen daughter heading off to college and you've quietly wondered what happens when she's there and I'm not, when something goes wrong at 11 p.m. and she can't call me, That worry is exactly why I built Positively Healthy University. It's a 3-hour live workshop just with me and a group of 10 girls where she'll get to build the emotional toolkit no college prep class covers. How to sit with hard things, how to regulate without reaching for her phone first, how to build a real community when she gets there. I have got 2 sessions this summer, so head to positivelyhealthycoaching.com/PHU for dates and to grab her spot. I have capped at 10 girls on purpose. Okay, back to the show.
Okay, so for the typical mom, my age, I'm turning 50 this summer. I'm very proud of it. With teenagers, young adults, I have a daughter going off to college. A lot of my friends, when we get together and talk, we're all kind of comparing notes on, what hormonal replacement we're taking or what supplements we're taking and what this and what that. What are you seeing as far as like the average complaint of someone who's my age who's just decently healthy?
And that's really cool. So 40 years ago, when I was 18 and I had my first green drink, I remember thinking, and number one, it was delicious. And number two, I was like, I'm going to do this for a long time. I'm going to do this until I'm old, like 50. And then I can stand on a stage and either tell them it works or tell them it doesn't work. And I was on a stage in April and that thought that came to me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 40 years right now. And my hormones are completely balanced. My blood work is perfect. I went through menopause, didn't even know it. Didn't have a single hot flash. I still lubricate beautifully. Like you can operate just fine. What I find is a lot of women don't operate fine, and it's hormonal. But that's not your endocrine system. It is. Your endocrine system makes hormones, but guess what controls the endocrine system? The nervous system. It goes back to the same thing we're talking about for the kids. How many moms, right, they use the excuse of being so busy, they eat sugar. And then they eat too much grain. And then they don't have enough healthy oils. They don't want to make all that food, right? Or they don't want to sit there and blend up a couple chia seeds and flax seeds and hemp seeds in their blender for 10 seconds. And then they have this wonderful hemp chia seed, flaxseed meal. They can put in everything to increase their omega-3s. So I think what's happening is a lot of women, because I work with a lot of women that have a lot of hormonal issues. And I can give you a quick tidbit. If you're one of them who's like, something's just off, I'm just not sure what it might be. It could be that you're simply deficient in DHEA. And so really quite honestly, when I have someone come in and they're off, a lot of hormones are off, I go to 3 things. Iodine, for sure, because most iodine is deficient in most women. Easy test. I don't have my nascent iodine here, but if you get an alcohol-based nascent iodine and just stretch out your wrist and put a drop on the wrist, it should just sit there. But if it soaks in, if it moves at all, and you won't be moving, it'll just be soaked into the skin. It'll never even drop off. That means you need iodine. So I always test iodine level because iodine is needed by the thyroid to create T4, which is converted to T3, and that's what gives you energy. But most women and most men are actually deficient in iodine. They don't eat seaweed anymore, and for good reasons. They don't eat certain fish either because it's become toxic, but there's a lot of phenomenal seaweed out there that is still very rich. And so we actually use nascent iodine in an alcohol base for testing and for taking, and life changes because that T3 is what gives you energy. But then I also go to maca. Make sure it's Peruvian maca root, not the stuff from China anymore, but the Peruvian maca root. That is one of those ultimate hormone balancers. It is incredible at helping to balance many, many hormones at once. And then DHEA. So those are the 3 things we do recommend. We do find quite a few people are GABA deficient right now as well. And although I don't recommend hormones, I have some progesterone, I have some estrogen, those are homeopathies. But then I do have some GABA that I definitely recommend to people as they're rebuilding their GABA reserve, because GABA controls the electricity of the body. So moms who are listening and dads who are like, you're a little stressed out, you wake up in the middle of the night, there's just a lot going on, that can simply be a GABA deficiency. So check out, you can do a Braverman test online. You can pay for, it's like $15 something for a Braverman test. And then you can see what your neurotransmitters are just by how you answer questions. We can always tell. But GABA deficiency is pretty rampant ever since COVID came, because everyone started using hand sanitizers and ruining their microbiome. And as GABA's made in the gut. And if you don't have a diverse microbiome, you don't make enough GABA. So those are the kind of tidbits I'd look at. GABA amount by taking the Braverman test. testing yourself for iodine, or come into our store. We test everyone for free. And then looking at maca as a great thing you can add to any smoothie. It almost has a multi flavor, so people put it in their coffee as well. If they do coffee, make
Mm-hmm.
sure it's acid free and organic. Anyhow, and then look at DHEA. That might be something you're a little bit low in, especially at your age. And in that age of 45 to 55, people can be quite
Mm-hmm.
low on DHEA. You can rebuild your reserves, but that might be something you need temporarily.
Yes. And quick side, I have so many asterisks on this conversation. We could go for hours, I'm sure. But organic coffee, that is something that I buy because I love coffee. And I don't think the average person knows that that's an issue. And I've heard about all the molds and toxins that are in regular coffee. Can you share? Do you know much about that?
Sure do. Yeah, coffee, almost all coffee will have mold just because of how it's grown. And so you actually want to look for a myco-tested coffee. So mycotoxins, that is part of the mold category. Molds are in mycotoxins. And we do want to remove that. A lot of people have issues with mold and they don't realize it. So if you're someone who's like, I just can't figure out what's going wrong with me, it can definitely be mold. Oh my word, I have so much I
Mm,
can think about mold. And so getting an organic coffee so we don't have the sprays, and then a mycotoxin-free coffee, and then low acid. So you can get a organic,
mm,
lower acid coffee that's mycotoxin tested. That won't be
mhm.
Starbucks, guys. And so that won't be any of your drive-through
Yeah.
coffees unless you're in some ritzy,
Right.
ritzy place. But so just
Yeah.
be aware that every cup of coffee you drink, you need 2 cups extra of water. So it's very much a diuretic, but you definitely want to be sure that you're drinking cleaner coffee. And I would encourage anybody to make more of a nut latte. So hear me out on this one. I've served this to so many people that drink coffee, and they change like immediately. If
Really?
you're one of those who drinks more than maybe 8 ounces of coffee in a day, you only
Mhm.
need 4 to 8 ounces of coffee, like in a quart jar. Laura and I both love quart jars.
Yeah, I know we have our both. Yes.
I do too. So you put just a little bit of coffee in here, your
Uh-huh.
mycotoxin or grain-free coffee, and then
Okay.
you make a nut milk. Nut milks are so easy to make, you guys. All you need is a blender, a good blender, and all you need is like nut butter. Get sprouted pumpkin seed butter or walnut butter if you want to improve the brain.
Okay.
A macadamia nut butter, almond butter, any of it at all, and you put a tablespoon of butter in there with 3 cups of water, and you have nut milk. You'll never have to buy milk again, you guys. It
Oh,
improves brain.
seriously? Oh, I thought you had to
So
squeeze
easy.
out the nuts.
No,
Oh.
no, no, no. Those days are gone. No, you could just I make all my own nut butters because I'm a fanatic and I'm in the kitchen all the time. I love it. But if you are too busy, just buy. But I really do recommend sprouted nut butter. So sprouted pumpkin seed butter for every man
Okay.
you ever know, because pumpkin seeds help reverse and keep prostate issues far, far away. So pumpkin seed butter for the guys in your life.
Okay.
Macadamia nut butter is incredible for the heart. Oh man, it's wonderful. You can combine butters, walnut and macadamia nut butter, almond butter and pistachio butter, whatever you want to do. You can buy butters, and they're small and they'll be expensive. Who cares? You're
Mhm.
using 1 tablespoon for 3 or 4 cups of water, and
Yeah.
you can add a little bit of vanilla in there, a little bit of salt if you want, a little maple syrup or a date, and blend it all up. And you have the most amazing milk. Like none of your children will miss sucking out of a cow. Please give that
Oh
up.
my gosh. Oh, I'm very anti-dairy. Yes.
Yeah, we're very anti-dairy too. Oh, you and I are just besties. I'm so
I
excited.
know.
But yeah, just make your own nut milk and then do your latte. So you have 3/4 of nut milk, which is phenomenal for you. And then you got this
Mhm.
little bit of coffee, which you love anyways, and then sweeten it with however you want. So this morning I added my cinnamon and my nutmeg and a bunch of, yummies in there, and
Mhm.
clove. But you can just have fun with your morning drinks. Just don't go back to that cup of coffee. None of you need that. You need a little bit.
Mhm.
If you're using it to jumpstart your adrenals, that's bad. So see me after class, but see Laura.
Yeah.
But we want to help you get your adrenals back in order. Pretty easy to do. But yeah, there's a lot you can do at home. You got to
Oh
come.
my gosh.
You got to come for a retreat, Laura. We should have you come
I
with
know.
your people, because we would have so much fun.
Yeah, I feel like I could just do this for days, so that I would love to come. Okay, so one more question before we start to wrap up. I was mentioning I have scoliosis. I've had it since I was, young teenager, and that's a thing that a lot of teenagers do get diagnosed with at some point because they hit that growth spurt and things go crazy. So I really want to hear what you have to say about this topic.
Well, I love this topic because I had scoliosis. And when I was 50, I decided I would reverse it. I'll just reverse this, right? If I could help everybody get rid of everything else, I can get rid of this. And I was fascinated by a German doctor who's been deceased for quite a while. But decades and decades ago, she was having tremendous success. 100% of her clients were getting rid of scoliosis by doing the craziest things. She would have them undressed down to their unders or a little swimsuit, and she would have them bend in crazy positions over furniture and logs and everything to stretch the myofascia while taking very deep breaths of oxygen. So they would do these long inhales and they would hold it and they would continue to stretch and they would exhale. And she did this rhythmically, right? So she would just stretch them in different positions because think of that spine. Your spinal column is extremely important to keep straight because you have 31 sets of nerves that come down the spinal column and go out to all the organs, glands, and tissues. And when there's a subluxation in the spine or a curvature, we can actually impact our very health. And so she would actually pull the myofascia different directions to release it to be able to align that spine. So I'm not in Germany and she's dead. So I thought, okay, I'll do the next best thing. So I have one of my favorite myofascia specialists is I call her the angel of pain. But anyhow, her name is Carlene and she's amazing. And so I actually went and I would go to Carlene and every week I went for almost 18 months. And she would work on my myofascia, and I used the hyperbaric chamber that I bought one. And
Okay.
then I also did some acupuncture. You don't need much of it, and that stuff is amazing at resetting the nervous system and some chiropractic care. And boom, I went in for I think it was maybe just over a year. I went in for a second X-ray, and it was completely straight. I mean, it was amazing. And the lady who did the X-ray, I'm like, can I see that? And she's like, I'm like, can I just come and see it? She's like, sure. So she pulled it up and it was beautiful. And I opened my phone. I said, this is what it was a year ago. And she's like, oh, she's like, how'd you do that? She goes, that's what my spine looks like. I'm like, this is how I did it. I think we have a lot of scoliosis right now, especially in our children, because they sit. They don't bend and move and play ball, They're always doing whatever. Mine I had when I was little. I don't know, but I think that can also lead to issues because we're not moving our body as much, right? And we're not catching the frisbee and we're not throwing things. And so we have all these kids with glasses. Give me a break because they're not exercising. These are muscles, right? We need to be looking at balls and roads when we're biking and all of these amazing, toys and plays that we used to play outside and run and jump and swim. And without glasses, we could just see so far and we were working our muscles. I think that's a lot of what happened to our spine. So I definitely encourage you to find a myospecialist near you. It wasn't cheap. I spent $100 a week going to see Carlene and I gave her a tip. But that was my health. I had all these babies and I wanted I couldn't help move my kids. My kids were moving and I would help box a couple boxes and be down for 2 weeks with my stupid back. And I was like so done with that. So it's so exciting now to be able to move and help all my kids and family move. And I can box up boxes and pick them up. I do squats every day to keep working on my legs and helping to strengthen. And I use my kettlebell to keep strengthening the muscles. And then the arthritis, I got rid of that really quickly because there was arthritis around the spinal column using a really good collagen protocol, which is basically amino acids. So I did a lot with amino acid therapy. So it definitely can be done. And I'm busy. So if I can do it being busy, I pretty much think anybody can, but it is something you don't put your mind into it. You're going to put your money into it. You're going to put 5 into you. And if that sounds like too much, please start adding up how much you waste on dairy, which no one in the world ever needs. Well, maybe in certain countries, but we don't do dairy, right? Just start totaling up your dairy, start totaling up your grain, which definitely you don't need at all, right? Start totaling up your snacks and your chips and your alcohol, goodness gracious me, right? Start totaling up all these fast food things you're running through and you'll quickly see that you probably have enough money to immediately start on your own therapy and make some changes dietarily to put more oxygen naturally into the body. So you can do it. You guys can do this. We got your back, right? This is fun.
Okay. I know I said that was the last question, but there's one more. With busy moms, because that is the key of life. We're just busy because things are busy.
Oh, yeah.
I just imagine your refrigerator, the inside of it looking like all these like chopped up vegetables and meal preps and hummus and all this stuff. Like, how do you do this?
That's exactly what my fridge looks like. And I'm like, oh, when did she look in my fridge? But yeah, and I had a big class here on Saturday. It was a redoing your kitchen, with Zuzu. And I'm like, I just opened my fridge. I don't got to prep it, but that's fast food, right? That's fast food for your kids. So there's celery and water, and there's carrots chopped up, and there's cucumbers, and there's grape tomatoes, and there's grapes, and there's apples and nectarines and whatever. So that's fast food. Trail mix is always sitting on the counter. There's hard-boiled eggs for people who want a hard-boiled egg. Like, I don't care. Like, anybody on the property can come and raid my fridge. They all know that, who's working on the property in our family, because there's always something to eat. So basically, if you can take those couple hours once a week and shred 10 pounds of carrots or 5 pounds of carrots, because then you can put shredded carrots into anything. The easiest thing to make is shredded cabbage and shredded carrots and some ginger and some onions. Saute that. The whole world is like at your there's nothing better. I love it. I just make it all the time. So there's so many things you can do. Cook up quinoa. It's good for 7 days. Now you have a pot of quinoa you can add to anything. Cook up some buckwheat. You'll never go back to oatmeal again. Ugh, please don't eat oats. They're useless. And so, but eating some buckwheat, that's not grain. And buckwheat, quinoa, buckwheat, millet, amaranth, those aren't grain. That's not going to feed your cancer and your candida or your parasites, but it'll make you feel really full. So kind of just getting an idea of what fast food looks like and some meal prep. Super easy to make a bunch of meals, moms. I did this. I had 7 children and 3 stepchildren in our home. So I had 10 children, and then I got my 11th. This is what we did. And I made meals for them almost every single night that they were alive, and all their lunches, because if you're prepared, if you kind of get organized, it's not near as scary. And please look at the lunch menu and decide if you really want your kids to eat that at school.
Yes, yeah.
And plus, I had this thought, my grandchildren are in there. Like, my grandchildren are in those ovaries. My grandchildren are
right.
And so, like, I wanted to have really healthy grandchildren. Boy, do I. One of my daughters is actually 38 weeks right now with twins. They ain't coming up. She went a month overdue with the last one because the babies just want to stay in there and get all healthy and beautiful. But all of my grandkids were born without any health issues at all. Like, just beautiful, beautiful births, and moms were all healthy and ready and enough oxygen. And it was just really cool. So just consider that. Yeah, consider that.
That's fantastic. Okay, we're going to have to do a part 2 at some point on this, all the meal prep and all the food, because there's just so much more to talk about. So Zuzu, how can people find you?
ZuzuUnleashed.com. And while you're there, you'll be able to go to Holistic Health Educators, which is our online school of natural medicine. Probably a third of our students are medical doctors and nurses, by the way. And then we have everybody else from age 16 or 18 through 90 who are just wanting to learn about natural health and open up a clinic or a little office in their home. And that's worldwide. We have our students all over the world. So that's in like 100 languages now. So it's super fun. And then Lilyfields Retreat Center, that's what we're building here in Georgia. We've been here for a couple of years, building and building. So this is quite exciting. And we have an online store, and then we have our store in person in a little wellness center. But the biggest thing is we really want y'all to come to a retreat, leave home completely transformed. You'll be cooking with us every single day. We do a lot with mindset, and that'll kind of blow your mind. Really, it's amazing. We get to work with Lamont exclusively. So it's really incredible. He's an incredible program. So it's a lot of fun, but that's what we have to offer. I am now on social media. So we had to redo several things, but I finally have the Zuzu Unleashed Instagram. And the Facebook is really just links. I don't do much on there. I'll be going live or doing things on Instagram now every day, or at least almost every day, sometimes twice a day. And then I will be opening up on Telegram and X. So we finally are hiring people to help that. But our school has a large following. And so we get to promote you and the things that we do through our schools and through Lilyfields, which has a large following as well. We just are breaking through onto the social media scene. So please help us grow, because we have so much.
We will.
Thank you.
Yes, we will spread the word. And Zuzu Unleashed is like literally the perfect name, because I can just feel you are very unleashed. You have so much energy and so much passion, and
I feel great. Like, I literally feel like I'm 20, and I can run and jump and walk and.
Your energy is literally so youthful. It's I feel like I'm talking to like a young, very young person. So yes, it just totally shows how passionate you are and how healthy you are, and very vibrant. So I look forward to speaking with you again in the future.
Yes, me too. Thanks for having me on. And go moms, go. The best thing you could be doing in your life right now is raising children. Is the very best thing you could be doing. Don't worry about anything else, because what you're doing right now cannot be undone. Trust me. Amazing, amazing work. My favorite work in the world was my babies, my kids.
That's some great pouring out of love and wisdom there. So thank you. And I will see you next time.
Thank you.
When you get a chance, please go to the show notes and click on the link ratethispodcast.com/THELife. TPHMom to give my podcast a rating and review. And if this episode resonates with you, be sure to share it with your mom friends who are going through the same things. Be sure to tune in for next week's conversation. Until then, keep up the good work.